Since we are in Aisha Fahmi's palace, we should remember Yusuf Bek Wahbi, who lived here and who really had such a marvelous big contribution in our cultural heritage in general. To shed more light on the life and career of this great actor, we are very much delighted to have with us Mr. Osama Fatim, our film critic. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for getting me.
And let's start immediately with this, with the contribution of Yusuf Wahbi in our cultural heritage, in our art, whether it's cinema or in theater. Let's have a quick vision and then we're going to go from the general to the specific.
All right. Well, he was everything. He was an actor, a writer, an director, a producer. So except for singing and dancing, he did all what an artist can be. So, that being said, we have to go into that that star's life. He is courageous. He come from the aristocratic class, which somehow novelty. So his father was a pacha, and he wanted his son to be also working in the agricultural field. They had land, they had
everything.
Yeah. From Fayoum, and he was called Yusuf because in Fayoum there is a place called Bahr Yusuf or Yusuf Sea, written or named after Joseph the Prophet. That being said, he was challenging to his father wishes, challenger, and he liked to perform sketches, make fun, basically give entertainment at a very young age. So at the age of 13 or 14, he was in the school for agriculture. He left the house. His father kicked him out. Very early and very stern family, and he said, no, I will have no son of mine to be an artist, because that was an insult at that point. So he joined the circus, and from the circus basically he lived a dire life at that point. And yet he continued, and with Muhammad Karim they decided to go to Italy to act there, to discover act. And once he was there, he changed his name into Ramses, so that he's an Egyptian actor, as well as not belonging to the family that doesn't want their sons to work in the field. And there he met, I think, his first wife, and then she helped him a little bit in getting roles, learning how to act, all that. And then eventually his father passed away, so he returned from Italy, and he became very rich. They had a lot of money, so once inherited his father's wealth, some of it anyways.
But this background or this early dire life, I think, enriched his character a lot and had such a positive impact on his character and career. True?
He's courageous. He's a courage man. He's an entrepreneur, if you want. He basically would not let life or family stop him from what he wants to do, and that's what happened. So he spent all his money on this on theater. He was fond of theater, and in the same time he returned back to his position. And
Mr. Osama, do you think that his risks were calculated risks or there were adventures?
No, adventures. Adventures for sure. That's why I admire these people, that you are going to throw yourself in the water without knowing how to swim, really thinking that you will be able to swim. But sometimes it works, sometimes, and a lot of times it doesn't. So just back to his position in the movie Gharam wa Intiqam, King Farouk gave him the big
category. Now he is Yusuf Beck. Even on the titles of the coming movies right after Gharam wa Intiqam, his name is Yusuf Beck Wahbi. But sir, before going to this, yeah, yeah. But sir, I would add to all the missions Yusuf Wahbi was shouldering a scouter, an eye behind the camera, to know where are the big talents, and he is going to take the talents even from other troops. Zuzu Nabil, Amina Riz, Anwar Wagdi, big names. They were really discovered by Yusuf Bek Wahbi, and they found their way because of his eye. If you want to elaborate on that too.
Yeah, you mentioned two of them. Then there is Amina Riz, of course. Basically, whoever cooperated with him, nobody went into Ramses' troop exactly without being approved by Yusuf Bek. And he didn't approve somebody talentless at all. So it was not an easy, exactly, and not everybody, because that also shows the generosity that he had. Why would I want to discover people? I need people to do the job. But he wanted a perfect job, so he did, well, he did, I rediscovered Anwar Wagdi. Discovering Anwar Wagdi, that by itself is for me a lovely thing, a beautiful contribution from a star to another star.
Amen to that. Adding to what you have just said, sir, Ramses' troop was the one introducing tragedy. I mean, and when you have on the other side of the coin Ali Kassar and Naguib Rahani Kishkish Bey and stuff like that, why I would go to watch a drama like Rasputin, for example, and not to go for fun to enjoy myself with Naguib Rahani in a comedy? I mean, how he had this balance to introduce big dramas, big tragic plays, and in the same time to have this competition with the other troops who are introducing comic plays.
Right, we have to give him credit for that. He went and saw these Naguib Rahani and Ali Kassar and decided he will never do something like that. And he took the opportunity of well, establishing his own troupe, and he was a cultured person. He read these things. This part of his character. That basically that's what he did in his spare time. That's what he did for joy, for fun, for actually also love. He loved his work. So going for that, and basically, let's put it this way: if you are good at what you do, and if you love what you do, people will appreciate that. So, and also we're speaking about all that was in Cairo, and at that point there wasn't that many people living in Cairo. So we are speaking about the same audience were here and there, but there was no hey, comedy is the best, we need to be comedy, we need to see a comic thing, because not just that. No, we want to see art, and that's what he put him through. Surviving the comic troops, and in the end he was also right about that. He added to the culture of the Egyptian people.
Amen to that. But sir, he was also very brave or bold even to introduce characters like Rasputin on theater, and like the one Hell's ambassador or Safir Jahannam in cinema, a role which was refused by many other big names in the world of cinema because they thought that they are going to be hated by the audience. How do you see such moves or such ways as a pioneer? Yusuf Bek Wahbi was a pioneer when it comes to something like this.
Yes, totally. And back to his courage. He was a courageous artist. He was a courageous person. So yeah, Rasputin, basically nobody knows in Egypt nowadays Rasputin except for his because only because of the
and the Bonnie M song, Rasputin.
Yes, and the
that's it.
Who's the Bonnie M now? Come on, we are speaking about the 80s. We are so many generations passed by. So yeah, that's whatever. So, and yeah, Ambassador of Hell, that's really a daring movie, and as you said, it was refused, and yeah, people were afraid about the concept of people hating them, which is, uh, I think it's an artist, what? Itch, if you want. No, I want to people to love me all the time. I want them to approve what I'm doing and saying.
Or this is a challenge. No, I'm gonna do that, and my people, my fans are going to still being in love with me because this is only a role. Yeah.
You have to reach a high level of self-confidence and courage to do that. Yeah, I am Yusuf Wahbi. I will be a bad person in one of my movies. I will be a great person in another, and people will love me anyways if I do it right. Like, I have to mention here that he was not totally tragic, but there is the comic إشاعة حب, or humor of love. His role was the father of Suat Hosni, and he was people just loved laughing for what he says and what he does.
Only his presence, it was really great.
So you cannot see Rasputin doing that.
Amen to that. Very much multi-talented. But sir, let me go to Anwar Wagdi because he mentioned Anwar Wagdi, and tell me, how do you see the generosity, if I may call it this way, of Yusuf Bek Wahbi to participate or to have a share with a very short role in Ghazal al-Banat, for example, of Anwar Wagdi, just to enrich the movie and to be his own character. I mean, to introduce Yusuf Bek Wahbi on the screen.
Exactly. So this is basically Anwar Wagdi because he's a student of his or a protege of his, and movie Ghazal al-Banat and Isha'at Hub, both of them were among the best 100 movies the Egyptian cinema produced. And for him, it's not Omar al-Sharif or Suat Hosni who made that movie the best. It was because of him. The opera, till now people, when they hear Mama, so he's doing that, people just will never forget that. So, going that far, because Anwar Wagdi put all his things, all his talents, all his production, all basically, Anwar Wagdi himself was 5 minutes in the movie. And just around all these stars, he gathered them. And yes, Yusuf Bek Wahbi, that's another show of talent and confidence. And courage, of course. So yeah, you're going to be there, or you kill them all. And basically, in his movies, they were mentioning that he was a criminal in most of his movies, yeah, or a bad character, or something like that, an evil character. But in that movie, people just loved him, like always.
And even the actors and actresses in his troops, they all speak about him in such a way that he was a big brother, he was a father, he was all the time giving them pieces of advices, and he really wants every one of them to shine on his own.
Exactly. That's shows again the generosity, the love for acting that he had since he was a child. That kind of person always becomes like that.
Amen to that. Sir, how do you see the changes or the developments or the stations of his career? I mean, starting with the movies where he was giving just very direct instructions to the audience, like Avocato Madiha, for example, moving to another stage where he was the father of Fatim Hamama in Al-Hubb Al-Kibir, for example, when he was a little bit older, then moving to having secondary roles with even Adil Imam in the middle of the 70s. How do you see these stages? And in each of the movies I mentioned, where there were only examples, he was Yusuf Bek Wahbi.
Yes, he was, and this shows how mature he is as a person. He realized he cannot be number one, the womanizer, the beautiful, the person who basically gets his people love him all the time, and for his role as a le premier, exactly. So once realized that, so he started using his talent into developing as a person, for sure, and as an actor. So yeah, he was an addition to anything, and this basically these are his small family, his children, and that never changed.
Sir, let me end with this. Yusuf Bek Wahbi was one of those who turned upside down the image of an actor. An actor was in the early stage or early decades of the 20th century called al-mushakhasati, or the one just who personalized characters in front of the camera, and even in the court they would not listen to their testaments because it was said that they can act or they can deceive even the judge. After Yusuf Wahbi, the case was totally different. Speaking about a very well-educated person, about well-cultured person, trilingual or even more than that, speaking more than 3 languages, very much well-educated, coming from a noble family, you name it. How do you see the changes which were made by Yusuf Wahbi on the ground as an actor?
Well, his existence changed the society in many things, changed how they looked at the actors, how they did not become mushakhasatis, but they became
artists, superstars.
And yeah, now they are basically getting the treatment of president of the republic.
Ambassadors, they are our ambassadors, our soft power.
At that point there was no advertisement, so now any of the actors who advertise for anything, the increase of the sales just happens like that. So yeah, that's again because he loved what he did and because he was strong. I mean, he challenged his father at the age of 14. So you want to tell me that I am bad, I am not good?
You said it, sir. His existence made the difference. He made the difference. Sir, thank you very much for your input. I really enjoyed our discussion, and I'm going to leave you with a promise to see you again in more episodes.
Thank you, ma'am. It's always a pleasure to be with you and with your show and to talk about the talent.
Legends we have. Yes.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, I'll add one more thing. This phrase in English says the legends of acting. Yusuf Wahbi is one of ours.
Amen to that.
So,
I cannot agree more.
And Yusuf Wahbi. All right.
Well, by this we come to the end of our discussion with my dear guest, Mr. Osama Fatim, our film critic. Right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.